Good morning and welcome to the Business Next Door. We hope that you are joining us from somewhere very warm this morning. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Ben with the Chamber, and we welcome this morning Caleb with the Record Argus. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's good to be here, and you're right, it is a little cold out there.
It is.
About -2 when I came in, I think.
Yeah, my car this morning said -22, so the sun's out and it's warming it up, but it definitely is a chilly day. This might be a little different for you. Normally you're on the other side of the interviewing process, so...
As I was trying to prepare myself for this, that was something I was thinking about. Normally I'm the one throwing out the questions and making people answer what I'm looking for, but so if I start turning the tables a little bit and start throwing questions at you, I'll apologize in advance. That's just how I'm built. So.
Okay, I hope I'm ready for those questions as they come. But why don't we start off this morning, just a little bit of history with the Record Argus to share with the audience.
Sure. We've been here for a very long time. We've been here since about 1848, which means that we're just 10 years younger than the borough itself. There were newspapers before us, but in 1848, the Weekly Express started up. We didn't become the Record Argus officially, the name the Record Argus, until 1917. There were a bunch of different iterations and versions of the paper. It changed hands, products combined in 1917, consolidated into the Record Argus.
Okay.
For most of our history, we've been right in this area, Greenville, and the Main Street area. About the furthest we've gotten is Penn Avenue. I've been to the paper for almost 10 years, and the bulk of my time here was when we were at Penn Avenue. In 2013, though, we moved down here to 205 Main Street. Mm-hmm. As you know, we're just kind of across the street. The name of the show, The Business Next Door, is pretty apt with that in mind.
It is.
Into an awesome facility down here in downtown Greenville.
Yeah, if you haven't stopped by the Record Argus to subscribe, if you aren't a subscriber, definitely stop by their Main Street office. It's a beautifully renovated space. So.
Thank you. It's very easy to do work in that facility. Very bright and clean and new. And yeah, even if you just want to have a little stop by, and if you want to bother me, or especially if you want to bother someone else on staff, definitely stop by and say hello.
Good. Now, it's whenever I think about the paper, I'm the type of person that I like to think in depth, really, really in depth, and I love the shows, like how it works. Mm-hmm. So I'm fascinated and spare no detail.
Okay.
What does a typical day look like when it comes to producing that paper that we see in the morning?
It can take up pretty much all the day. It takes a lot of people. It takes a lot of hours. For me, when I clock in, let's say, it starts at 1:30, the crack of 1:30 in the afternoon, usually. The work starts well before that, though. We have... people, our office staff coming in like around 7:30, 8, making sure that the business of the day starts. Even before that, the delivery of the newspapers coming in. Mm-hmm. The people who are, of course, as the editor, my mind is focused very much on the collection of news and stuff, and that doesn't really start till later in the day, because if we start too early, then people are worn out by the time that the big stuff starts to happen.
Yeah,
so that's why I don't come in until about 1:30. Our community editor, Holly Patterson, who wears a lot of hats for us, does her community pages and collects news. She's in around 8 or so, much more earlier in the morning. The rest of our staff doesn't come in. Phil Rao, our news editors, in a little bit earlier, but a lot of us don't come in till the afternoon.
Okay.
We come in, we answer all of our calls and emails. All very important stuff, which I know that everyone wanted to hear about. But then we start, start calling people, trying to collect information about the things that we've heard about. Maybe there's a car accident or a fire overnight, and we need to find out what exactly happened with that fire. Why did it happen? These kinds of things. Sometimes it's worse situations than that. But tracking down those people, tracking down the correct information, compiling it together. We have people laying out different pages. Tom Chapin designs the bulk of our news pages, making sure that they look nice and doing some fun and creative stuff with the front page. And so that's happening very much in the afternoon until the evening. And after we get everything to him, and the sports people get all their stuff done, we then beam it up to Oil City, and they print all of our stuff for us in a nice new, nice modern facility up there.
Wow. So it's almost 24 hours every day that, stuff is coming in, and things are, if it's not being written, it's being printed, and it's just never-ending sort of cycle.
I'd be remiss if I didn't point out, too, that, of course, after we're done, it's not done either. There's the printers, too, but there's also the carriers and the people that deliver the papers, which are kind of heroes this time of year.
Oh, my gosh.
Because they're out at when it's dark. They're basically out at when it's dark, and when it snows and when it's negative 22 out, they're doing their best to make sure that all of our readers get their daily news, which we think is very important. And I don't know if I could do it. If I could be out there at negative 22 and be like, I'm going to get this done.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. Now, how has technology has grown and I mean, I feel like it's always changing and improving. Has that allowed the process to run smoother for you guys to work, simultaneously on layouts and pages?
I think some of that the technology with the layout hasn't changed a lot, but with it has allowed us to very easily send stuff to Oil City. I don't know how easy it would have been 10, 15 years ago, but with different web programs and applications and things, it's very easy for us to produce our pages here in Greenville, do everything we need to do, get them set in a PDF format, and just throw them in an FTP program and send them up to Oil City. And that's a pretty nice luxury.
Yeah. And so not only is there the print side, but there's got to be somebody updating the website and getting all the articles generated in that as well.
Fortunately, we work with a business that helps us out with that. Okay. We send them the same product that we send to Oil City, and they just take out all the stories and the photos for us and produce that nice, neat web product that you can see at recordargusnews.com. Of course, we do a lot of other work trying to update the site if there are severe weather conditions, if there are a huge piece of news, whether charges coming down in a huge case, a huge fire somewhere. We try to keep our website updated, but also we're doing a lot of work to try to keep Facebook updated and Twitter, and it's a lot of. Yeah, certainly. When I say that I go in at 1:30, my job begins before that and after that as well. Because as soon as I get up, checking to see what we may have missed, what's changing, what we need to get to our readers. Because the newspaper it comes out every 24 hours. That's not good enough for news anymore. People want as much as they can get now, and we have to provide that. We have to keep up with their needs and their demands because there's other services out there that will do that, and we try to do our best with that. I think we do a better and better job with that every day, and hopefully we're getting people the stuff they want and when they want it. And if they're not getting it, go to the webpage, go to recordargusnews.com. They're nice complements to the print product. The print product is very important to us, but you can get it's a nice complement. They work together, I think.
Definitely. So there certainly is a lot to it, more than when you hold that, you may realize what it took to get that to your hands.
Yeah.
And so thank you for sharing that. That is pretty spectacular. What is your favorite part of that whole process? Your favorite part of the news day?
My favorite part of the news day is creating stories because there isn't always big news events happening. There aren't always things that are obvious that need to be covered. Sometimes we have to sit down as a staff and really brainstorm, what haven't we covered in a while? What aren't people paying attention to? Who has a really awesome story that isn't being shared, and how can we tell it? It begins there, and I really enjoy the next part. At heart, I'm a writer. My title is editor, but I do a lot of writing, and that's why I got into this. I love to tell stories. And that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
I believe it's connected as well. Going out, talking to people, getting their stories, finding out how they overcome things, how they accomplish things, why they do things for other people. I had this story the other day about we always think this winter's the worst winter. This winter's been pretty terrible, and we always think this winter's the worst winter. But there are people out there. negative 22. Yeah. That is not right. but yeah, there's always people out there trying to help each other get through this worst winter ever. And so we try to track down some of those people and find out, why are you, when it's dark out and cold out, not only plowing your driveway or shoveling your sidewalk, but helping out your neighbor? Why are you doing that? It doesn't make sense. We as humans want to stay warm and comfortable, and that goes against that. And so it's really fun to track down what makes people tick and what makes them maybe better people than other people even.
Yeah. And we love, getting that kind of news. So it's great that you guys search that out, because we get bombarded with so much, throughout the day, that when you get little gems like that and you guys are searching those things out, it's great that you guys share that with our community. So what's a valuable lesson that you have learned over the years working with the paper?
There's a lot of things to be learned every day about how to be a better journalist, and even you learn about being a better person talking to some of these people. But I think probably the most important and difficult lesson you have to learn very early on. You come in, I think as a young reporter, thinking that, at least I did, that I was very intelligent, very talented, that I'm going to come in, not make mistakes, everything's going to be flawless. But the mistakes, you're going to make mistakes, everybody does, and unfortunately they can be devastating to someone. When you're talking about an obituary or a police report, you get a comma in the wrong place, a word in the wrong order, you misspell something, and you've not only ruined someone's day, but you've ruined a day that's already been maybe the worst of their lives. Yeah. And you're confronted with that. People will come to you and let you know how you've hurt them. And it's profound and it's difficult to deal with, but it's part of the growing process of what we go through. And you gain a lot of respect for what you have to do, and the printed word and the power of it, because when things go up to Oil City, when things go down on black and white, they're there forever. Yeah. And there's a lot of talk now about telling kids, hey, the internet is down in ink. It's not down in pencil. You do something, it's out there forever. That's always been the case with newspapers as well. And you have to. There's consequences, but you have to deal with them, and you grow as a writer and a reporter and an editor in that. And it's one of the toughest lessons to learn, but it's valuable. Yeah. I think it's made me a little paranoid in my everyday life, because I do check over everything a little insanely and obsessively. But I think my wife makes fun of me because of this, but I think it makes our home safer. I think there's some other benefits to it as well.
Well, for those of you that are consumers of this, I think that for us as well, we need to understand to have a level of grace with reporters and people who are doing that, because people do make mistakes. So give them a little grace the next time you see something that you're not happy about.
I appreciate that. Yeah. We do.
I know I want it for my situation. So
I certainly I will take the blame when it's my fault, because unfortunately it has been my fault before, and it's tough to deal with. But sometimes you need to get both barrels from people. You need to feel the full extent of it to understand what they're going through. And some people, you can take it easier on us, but if you're upset with us, give me a call. I'll deal with it. I've dealt with it before, and I appreciate people's honesty and openness, because they're going through something difficult, and good. We have to understand that.
We appreciate it, everything that you guys do. What is the greatest misconception related to the newspaper business?
I think one of the greatest misconceptions is something that I've actually been contributing to right now, is that all of news is negative news, that what's most interesting is the terrible things that happen to people, because so far basically what I've been talking about is fires and crimes and things. Those are just the easiest thing to explain when talking about what we do, but not all news is bad news, and we take a lot of pride in that for many reasons, but we cover this area constantly. But as soon as something terrible happens, you see the TV crews come in, the publications from other areas coming in to report on misfortunes in our area. But we're here every day reporting on the good stuff too, the stuff that we were talking about. And kind of something that's related to that is, I feel like a lot of people think that newspaper is a very dry and uninteresting medium, and that you can only find inspiring movies and or inspiring stories in movies and in bestseller books. But check your local newspaper. We are tracking down interesting, positive stories, people who deal with a lot of things and overcome them. I'm trying to think different stories like Faith Noel Gibson. She's a local little girl who had a heart transplant within the past couple years. And it's just amazing for a little girl and her family to have to go through that. And they had an awesome float in the, I think it was a Halloween parade where they were the Wizard of Oz. And it was all about organ donation, and she was the Tin Man. And it's, that's an inspiring story. One of my other favorite ones was this kid I went to high school with, Mike Matheson. He lost his brother, drowned a couple years ago, and he decided to take that and start up. He had like a benefit demolition derby. His brother was huge into the demolition derby, and so to sit down with these people, learn about the challenges that they're going through, how they're overcoming them, and making positive things and finding brightness and happiness in their life. That's inspiring. That's great stuff. And our staff does an awesome work of getting those stories and finding out what's interesting about them.
Yeah.
So I would encourage people to don't think it's boring, don't think it's bland. There's something inspiring in there, something local people are doing that could inspire you in your own life, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people call me Mr. Greenville, and friends that have moved away because they see, I'm active with the chamber and stuff like that, and I'm certainly not Mr. Greenville, but...
You're wearing green, though, kind of.
I am, yeah.
And so am I. We're both Mr. Greenville.
Yeah. And, but I would have to say, there's still so much that I learn from the newspaper in the mornings that I learned that I don't know about this area, that's brought to light through what the Record Argus is able to provide with their content. So I appreciate that. There is so much to this area, I think, than people really realize, and you guys are doing a good job of bringing that to light, definitely.
I think on a larger level, we try to look at the individual successes and triumphs of people, but in a bigger way, the way that I like to think of it is that we're telling the story of Greenville as well, in this area that has dealt with a lot of tough things over the past several decades with the challenges of industry in the United States, and the loss of jobs, and talking earlier about how people will think they need to go to a movie to find an inspiring story. We've got our own Rocky story right here. Well, Greenville has dealt with a lot of things, and you have people on an everyday level doing, sometimes they're little things, sometimes they're small things, but the things that they're doing that they feel and believe and likely will make their community better, will help Greenville. It's fallen a little bit, but help it inch up back to where they remember it to be. And instead of, some people don't see it right away. We have a story. We had several stories on the mural, the big mural on the wall here in town. I think that's an example of instead of showing you the whole fight of Rocky, we're showing you blow by blow. That's one punch of Greenville fighting its way back in. Awesome. And it looks small, but you can track that story with every little piece that's put into place, and that's something that we take pride in, because there are hardworking people out there, people that care, that are doing a lot, and we want to help support them and document them and let people know what's going on.
Great, that's awesome. Why is the Record Argus then so important to the community?
There's a lot of things that we do, and we get a lot of people that are super appreciative and understand what we're doing. On certain levels, what we're doing is letting people know what's going on in their community. We have a page labeled specifically community, where we put small briefs every day of events that are going on. We let people know what's going on in their community, what to support, what they're supporting when they do go to these things. We try to highlight some of the things on our front page too. At the bottom, we got the RA calendar. So if you don't have anything going on, you're looking for something to do, look at the bottom of the page. So we're getting that information out there. We're also, it's maybe less fun to talk about, but one of the great responsibilities of a newspaper is to build a better and more educated electorate, to make sure that when people go to the polls, they know who they're voting on, why they're voting on them. And we are there at every meeting, especially Greenville Council. We're at everything they do, so you can see every little thing that they're doing. So you know when it comes to vote, who you're voting on, why you're voting on them.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of decisions they make, especially Greenville Council. I cover them, so that's something I know pretty intimately. They have a lot of difficult decisions to make, a lot of unpopular decisions to make. And so if you're a voter, and you should be getting out to vote, you should, this is a way to learn what they're doing and why they're doing it by unbiased, we're going in with no motive, no nothing except for just to get the information out there.
And if you aren't going to those things, I don't know what the community attendance is like at the borough meetings, but
terrible.
I'm assuming it's probably not that many people showing up. So where else are they going to get that information that we really do need as a community? So definitely the Record Argus is important in providing, and I love that we need to be educated in these issues, and you guys are able to shed to share those that information with us.
And these council meetings, these school board meetings, you can't get this stuff anywhere else. We're the only ones. Not only are there very few residents and taxpayers there, but there's no other media, no one else reporting on these things. We're there at every meeting, keeping an eye on things, getting the information out there. And for other people, more practically even, when your taxes go up, you can see why. We're covering each meeting, each step, how they're spending their money. Why your taxes are going up is because of this reason, or your water bill or your sewer bill, all just because they had this huge water project on the east side, or they have this other plans in the sewer network.
Yeah. And there's definitely a lot of important information coming out soon. I mean, we have a bridge that's going to be closed pretty soon. I know that they're looking at keeping it at 3 mills. And understanding why and sort of how that affects you as a borough resident is important, and I'm sure you guys are going to be sharing all of that.
Yeah, you're talking about the fire tax that's going to be on the ballot. That's the thing that maybe people aren't talking a lot about and probably not enough about, but the borough of Greenville is looking to put a 3 mil fire tax on the ballot, and if people support it, the borough will take it as, yes, we want to support our local fire department. Yes, we want to pay them, and they deserve to be paid. And if they don't come out and support it, they're going to take it as a look like, maybe people don't support this fire department as much as we thought that they did. And so that's an important thing for people to get their opinion out on.
Definitely. If we're, because we need to vote on it, and we need to be educated in that. So, what are some new things that the Record Argus has going or has to offer? We're always looking for new, as residents, when we look to our businesses. And so what is new at the Record Argus?
The most recent thing is we've been tweaking our page 4 a little bit. We've gone to a change where we used to have, some people call it an opinion page, a commentary page. It's where we put our editorials and political cartoons and stuff. We used to have that 6 days a week. We're cutting it back to 3 days a week to provide more room for, we're trying to run, for example, each day that we don't have a commentary page, something from the archives, an interesting story from decades or even 100 years ago that the Record Argus published, some weird quirky thing that people should find fun, hopefully. Also, we're trying to run more local photos there, and maybe everyone, pretty often actually, a national story or a state story that we may not have room for otherwise, but here's something important, here's something really interesting, and here's a picture or two that we wouldn't have been able to put in previously that is impressive or surprising, just giving them more content that way. In addition to that, though, when we do have the opinion page, we're trying to really pack it with local stuff. The reason that we went to this change was because we had a lot of national and international opinion pieces that were talking about things that didn't really apply that much to people in our area, and really just divided people and made them angry, especially the political cartoons. They don't always apply to people. And
if you want people's opinions, you can go to Facebook and spend hours on Facebook for people's opinions.
Whether you ask for them or not, you're going to get them. And so we're trying to provide more local stuff. We're trying to use the space more for, we've contacted our local legislators to write in something. What are they doing in Harrisburg? What do they think is important? How are they trying to shape the state? We're trying to talk to some local pastors I think for tomorrow we have David Doby of First Presbyterian Church writing a column, and our county sheriff has a column ready on how to avoid home scams. And a lot of people are worried about those kinds of things, so we've gone right to a local source. This guy deals with this stuff all the time, a lot of expertise. And so instead of having someone writing about something very, very far away that doesn't matter to you at all, we have Gary Hartman, who's actually a Greenville guy and Mercer County Sheriff, talking about things that very intimately affect your life. And so we feel like we're utilizing the space better that way.
That's great. That is great. I know I'm looking forward to that, that addition, that change that's happening. Anything else that's new?
Oh, yeah. We've also, today's Friday, we've got our third section of Inside Out.
Oh, okay.
We put out in February, each Friday in February, put out these huge special sections filled with stories about local businesses and groups. And I feel like because they're special sections, sometimes they don't get enough attention. People might think, oh, this is just an insert, I'm going to set this aside. Don't set it aside. There's some really great stuff in there. Some fun stories recently. In the last section, we had a story from our news editor, Phil Rao. He went up to Sperry Farms up in the southern part of Crawford County. They have literally a million chickens up there, laying like 700,000 eggs a day. And that's just a few miles away from here.
Wow.
And it's this crazy operation that they have. There's a really fun story about that. And even Joy Cone, we read about them. They're just very close to us in the valley, making ice cream cones, something that we've all had and loved. Yeah, they make like 1.5 billion cones a year.
Wow.
In this section, keeping a little bit closer, we got Steve Williams. His funeral home is 100 years old this year. And how crazy is that? His funeral home is 100 years old.
Yeah.
He is also, in my lead and kind of the way that I pitched it is he's got 3 milestones in one. I don't know how excited he is about me doing this because he also turned 40 this year.
Did he really?
Yeah, I don't know if he wanted that broadcast everywhere, but it's on the internet now, Steve. You know where to find me, and I apologize I'm doing this. But so he turned 40, funeral home's 100, and it's his 10th year there. So there's different people having different milestones and different successes, and some fun art to go along with it as well. And then, of course, technology. We've done a lot with Facebook, and we're trying to get into video. Our setup isn't quite as sophisticated and great as this. This is really impressive, and I'm very happy to be here with this. But we're trying to do more with videos out at different events. Well, like easy ones are like high school concerts and school concerts and things. We take videos of a song or two. We get a lot of positive responses from families saying, hey, I couldn't make it there. This is a chance for me to see my kid, my grandkid perform.
Awesome.
So we're throwing that on Facebook, on our website. At sporting events, we're taking stuff and trying to do a lot with Facebook too. Different updates and different things, and trying to provide more of a companion piece. We were talking earlier about how previously your newspaper only comes out once every 24 hours. We're trying to keep you in the know between that. We're doing stuff with school closings, trying to spark some discussion too about different important things locally about, like the fire tax. Try to broach that question with people. Where do you stand on it? Do you think that we should people even have to vote on it? Should they just have the tax? Reynolds, are people excited about all the money? They're putting a lot of investment in security there. They're looking at a canine dog for their school, and they're looking at active shooter training. Well, actually, they're going to be doing that. Do people feel like they're doing too much? Are they not doing enough? We're trying to present ourselves as a forum for local people to talk about things that are important to them, and hopefully in a very constructive and intelligent way, because like you said, on Facebook, things can get very emotional, very heated. But there's important conversations that need to be had and that need to be taken seriously, and hopefully people will come to us for that.
Good, great. The next question and the last question that I have, and I hope that maybe some of you were tweeting out. If you haven't, you still have time to tweet your questions. It's at Greenville Cham, CHAM1. Still haven't changed that handle. I'm sorry. I'm going to work on seeing if we can find a better one. But at Greenville Cham1, send us your questions, and then we'll get to them at the end here. But the last question that I have for you, And I do have like a backup one too after this. But your 2 words, I ask all of our interviewees, what are your 2 words for doing business in Greenville?
They would be the past and the future. People here are very appreciative. They put a lot of value in their past. Greenville has a very amazing history as to how big it was, what a almost metropolis it was at one point, how busy and successful it was, and people that were there for that remember that and take a lot of pride in that. But they also are, with that in mind, they've also watched it, slide a little bit with the decline of industry here locally and around the country, and so they're unhappy with that. They're not satisfied with where they're at currently, and they're doing a lot of work to try to get out of that. And talking about some of the things that people are doing to get Greenville to climb, and there are a lot of people doing a lot of different things. Think back to the chamber with the Boomtown movement. The mural, there's different things, a lot of people doing a lot of different things trying to benefit their town, and it can be challenging, I think, for new people to understand that dynamic, because why are you still talking about 50 years ago? Why are you still talking about 100 years ago? Because these were very strong memories of this town and came to define what Greenville is in a lot of ways. Yeah. And they're not happy with the way things are now. There's nothing wrong with Greenville currently. There's a lot of strong businesses and people here.
And there's plenty of opportunity.
Yeah.
Plenty of opportunity. So.
Yeah, and a lot of people working hard, a lot of very proud and very intelligent and very creative people. I think 2 of them are the brightest and doing a lot of work towards that end. I think both of us, believe a lot in Greenville. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. If we could go somewhere else. I've put down roots here. I got a house here, bought a house here. I'm tied here in a lot of ways, and I'm here because I believe in this place. I believe in the newspaper, obviously, but the growth that's potentially here and the people who are here to do that work.
Well, I'm happy that you're here, Caleb.
And I do.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're here and happy that you're with the Record Argus. I'm going to check Twitter really quick to see if we had anyone give a little shout out. It looks like we didn't have anyone tweet their questions.
They were probably intimidated by this power duo here.
Yeah.
Like they're just destroy our questions with amazing answers, and we're not ready for that this time of day.
My final question, because we actually did go over the half hour, but I have one question. Current show you are binge watching on Netflix?
Binge watching on Netflix.
If you do that.
No, certainly I do. My wife and I do that from time to time. We're kind of caught up. There's probably something that we have let go, and we were watching Orange Is the New Black for a long time.
Okay. I heard that was a good one.
Yeah, there's been so many that I do it on Hulu too. I had to catch up on Parks and Rec. I had to catch up on that.
One of my favorites.
And it's so sad that it's leaving. I think it's really fun what they're doing right now with the near future. They have all these fancy Grizzle phones and different things, and it's sad that it's leaving. There's a lot of talk now about how amazing Amy Poehler is, and she's getting a lot of credit not only for her work there, but at SNL, and just an awesome cast there. And that's probably what I was binge watching on Saturday. I had a couple hours, need to catch up. That's why I spent my time. Yeah.
Great one. All right, so thank you so much for being here, Caleb. And we hope that you'll join us next month. It's actually going to be on the 27th of March. If that's a Friday, that's the day. Thank you for watching.